Waits for the 0-1. It is gone.
This is Gavin Lux here hanging out with Andy.
I wouldn't have been able to experience what I did today without Candy. They're definitely changing the game for sure.
What is up, Candy fam? We are back with another Candy live stream. If you saw real quick, we're in the Batcave, baby. We are in the Batcave. Usually we have a MLB style background, but now we are we're fully headed into DC Universe. So today we're talking about DC Universe, DC Comics. We're here to talk about collectibles, community, and some very important updates to the candy collecting experience. First of all, a big shout out to all of our Bat Cowl, Legacy Cowl, and DC comic holders. We've been seeing some great movement across the secondary market lately, and it's been very exciting to watch collectors rediscover some of their old favorites, hunt down some of the missing comics you want, and ultimately continuing to be a fan and building your collections. Today, joining us, we have Steven Belser from the Candy team. He's going to give us the latest on everything happening with DC at Candy and offer a look at what's ahead. And then we'll also be joined by the professor and the doctor, who I'm about to bring up. The doctor. There he is. They'll be walking us through the latest updates to the Candy buying experience, and we'll be answering some of your questions. We got a lot to cover, so drop your questions in the chat at the end of this discussion. As always, we'll go through the Q&A, show the question on screen, and then have the team here answer those questions. So call the bat signal. It's time to get into it. Want to welcome our panel, Steven, Matt, Professor. How are you guys doing today?
Good. How are you
doing? Great. Doing great. I need a nickname though.
Yes, we do need to get you a nickname. We need to change Matt's label too.
Yeah, I know, the doctor. It's got to match everyone else. We'll do that for the next live stream. Awesome. Well, look,
I can't change it. I'm already in.
Yeah, you're already in. No worries. We'll take note of that for the next DC live stream. It's a big day here at Candy Digital. First DC centric live stream. So with that, we had to put some DC trivia together. So what we're gonna do, I got 3 DC questions that the fans watching the live stream will need to answer via the chat. No prizes, but we just want to test out your acumen of DC Comics. So if you guys are ready, we'll kick it off. Question number 1. Which Green Lantern was originally an architect before joining the Green Lantern Corps? A. Hal Jordan, B. John Stewart, 3. Guy Gardner, or D. Kyle Rayner? People are saying A. I see A. I see B.
Oh, B. I see B now.
All right. Looks like the consent. We're all over the spectrum here. A to D.
I'm embarrassed. I don't even have a light guess.
Well,
that's embarrassing.
You're going to find out the correct answer in a few seconds. All right. Answers are piling in. Let's see. The answer to question number 1 is John Stewart. There you go. A Marine Corps veteran and trained architect from Detroit, John Stewart was selected by the Guardians as Hal Jordan's backup before becoming a Lantern in his own right. So B, all those who selected B as the answer, pat yourself on the back. All right. Question 2. What city does Nightwing primarily protect after leaving Gotham? A. Coast City, Keystone City, Bloodhaven, or Hub City? C. Yeah, I see C in the chat. Bloodhaven. B. Keystone City. All right. Looks like C is starting to pile in here. Answer C, Bloodhaven. Dick Grayson steps out of Batman's shadow and takes on Bloodhaven, a corrupt port city just south of Gotham as his own territory. Gotta love it. And lastly, this is apparently the hardest question of DC trivia. Who founded Arkham Asylum in DC Comics? Is it Hugo Strange, Jeremiah Arkham, C, Thomas Wayne, or D, Amadeus Arkham?
This is a trick question.
The Arkham brothers.
The Arkham brothers. Ooh. All right, people are saying D. Let's see if they're right. It's D. Amadeus Arkham converted his family estate into a psychiatric hospital, naming it for his mother, Elizabeth Arkham. And that concludes our first edition of DC Trivia with Candy Digital. So with that, maybe this is something we do on reoccurring live streams for DC. Maybe we even tie some prizes to it in the future. Just want to
tie some prizes to it. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, of course. There
Although
we go.
I guess we have to mitigate people using ChatGPT and Claude really quick to get those answers. But hey, that could be its own challenge.
There you go. You can take that one on, Professor. With that, appreciate all the participation in the chat. Do want to turn over to Steven Belser, who, you know, internally on the stand-ups, he's always coming with fire from DC Comics in terms of updates. He and the team have been putting a lot of thought into DC Comics, Candy, and how we move forward. So that, Steven, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Anthony. And thank everyone from the DC community for showing up today. You guys always show up, but definitely appreciative for you coming here today because we got a bunch of very cool stuff to talk about. So before we get into all the cool stuff, the $1 million question that I know everyone is interested in asking is, where are we with DC Comics? So as discussed on prior calls, we have been engaged in active ongoing discussions with DC. We've had a number of very productive working sessions with their digital team, with their consumer products team. I think both sides feel that there is some very real momentum that's happening here, which is resoundingly positive. But it is important for me to reiterate why this process is taking as long as it has. We are interested in reframing the relationship away from the DC3 portfolio of products that was developed a few years ago and really updating it and modernizing it for today. And that includes integration within the DC ecosystem itself, exploration about bookending products within the DC UI ecosystem. How do we bring our products and our experiences closer to the fans? And those conversations need to be thoughtful, and we want to make sure that we get it right. And so we've been making some progress, and we do have some interesting things to announce today, but there's more on what is the status of the larger relationship moving forward. I do want to say, though, that we have had some very positive developments with that partnership based on all the foundational elements that we've rolled out at Candy, and that is self-custody, reminting on Solana, and what has turned out to be a very real and very active secondary marketplace. I'm sure everyone on this call here has been tracking and watching and potentially participating in it, but we've seen 700 plus or so secondary sales of DC assets since we enabled self-custody a couple weeks ago. There was a Superman 1 that cleared almost $3,800, $3,700 and change. The market for DC on Candy is very real and is very live. And if you have not participated, you should do so now. That said, the near-term focus for DC, while those conversations are ongoing, is to deliver some value for the community today. So before I get into specifics, I do want to say, again, on the feedback, this community has been so vocal, and we've taken it to heart across both MLB and DC, and has really shaped what we think is an appropriate structure for some of the products that we're going to be rolling out. I also want to shout out some of the DC collectors who jumped in to the MLB drops. You came in, you learned the mechanics, you gave some honest feedback. Hat tip to Jafar for pulling that 1-of-1 Shohei, which is truly amazing. So the question that we get, aside of what is the status of DC, is what can I do with the DC comics that I actually own today? And the answer to that is collection quests. And so what we are rolling out is pretty awesome. Every week for the next 8 to 9 weeks, there will be one quest. If you complete it, you will get a free pull on a gacha machine that is powered by our partners at comicbook.com. This is a real physical graded collectible. It is revealed live and shipped right to your door. This will be 9 weekly sprints every Friday to Friday, commencing August 21st, culminating with the Clayface premiere on October 23rd. Every quest that we've designed is going to be dead simple. No points, no tiers, no math, super straightforward. Let's lower the barrier to entry. Let's ensure that everyone can participate and have a great time. The prizes on the back, again, are awesome, but we want to ensure that we are creating something that feels substantive. The structure of these quests will be utilizing all assets that are readily available on the secondary market today. So if you have a stockpile of assets that have been sitting in your wallet, if you want to test those titles on the secondary market, this might be the time for you to think about getting those out. The first quest, as mentioned, will be announced on August 21st. It will lock on Friday, August 28th. Successful participants will receive a pull credit for that gacha machine on comicbook.com directly into their account. This will happen every Friday thereafter until the Clayface premiere. Every week, one quest opens, closes, another one opens, closes. You qualify with the comics that are already in market. Again, nothing to wait for. The requirements that we built are based on what collectors are currently holding and currently trading today. And so we took a long, hard look at what is out there in market and have put together some thoughtful quest designs for you. The prizes are physical. We will fund the polls. Comicbook.com stocks the machine with authenticated, graded DC comics. They run the reveal. They ship it direct to your door. Every pull, again, is a real collectible. If you pull something you don't like, based on typical dynamics with the gacha machine, you'll get 85% of the value back, and you can roll that into another pull of either the same size, or you can plus up it for a larger pull in the future. The real upside, though, is obviously competing on a weekly basis. But if you qualify in 5 of the 9, you will receive a larger pull on an upgraded gacha machine, which has access to rarer titles, higher grading. And if you are successful and lucky enough to have qualified across all 9 quests, there will be 10 fans who will receive a $250 legendary pull on an insane comicbook.com gacha machine that will be hosted live. The drawing will be hosted live on October 23rd, which is, again, Clayface opening day. The names will be pulled on camera. The gacha pulls can be done at your own discretion. I'm not going to spill any of the details for the first quest, but I will tease that the first sprint will have a connection to Lanterns, which is the upcoming weekly series that debuts on HBO this Sunday. And the last thing I will say, and I think we'll have Q&A at the end, is if you haven't already done this since I've been speaking, check your collection tonight. When we designed the quests, we noticed that some of you are well on your way to completing some of the sets. And so take stock of what you have, look at what's in the market. And again, if you have duplicates, now might be the time to get some stuff in the market, because there should be some very real demand in the coming weeks. So we'll take Q&A at the end, but we're super jazzed about that. And then again, as always, we will be transparent with the community about any ongoing conversations that we have with DC, again, which have been substantive to date.
Awesome. Steven, thank you for that update. And to all the fans listening and watching the live stream, this is a new opportunity, right? One of the biggest questions that has plagued Web3 or digital collectibles is, what about that physical element? And I think this is an opportunity to actually get a graded comic book in your hands that you could show it off to people, essentially.
Yep.
So with that, it is going to be a learning curve in terms of the quests, how it works, the UI, all that good stuff. So you could definitely lean on us and rely on us to put out content that's going to help walk through all the collectors on how these quests are going to work, how it kind of interlinks with comicbooks.com, I think the website is.
Correct.
But a lot more to come there. So this is just a start. Steven, as always, thank you for jumping on and providing your expertise.
Of course, yeah. And I will say, if there's any specific questions about DC in general, whether it's quest related or otherwise, feel free to reach out. You can email me. You can message me on X. I am available. And I will say, I did take a look at what was stocked in the initial DC Comics gacha that we built for these quests. There's 600 titles that are currently loaded. There's a bunch of super cool stuff. So I think everyone who participates and is successful will be very happy.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Steven.
Yeah.
More to come on the DC front in the coming days and weeks. So appreciate you standing by. Keep those notifications on because this is just the beginning. With that, transitioning over to some really cool updates that impact both DC collectors, MLB fans, legacy candy collectors. So with that, am I kicking it over to the doctor first or the professor? All right, let's go with the doctor. All right, we're here for our yearly checkup with the doctor himself.
All right, so I'm going to mention about 6 upgrades and updates that are either already there or coming soon. The first is the List on Magic Eden button. When you're looking in your collection and the things you own that have been migrated to Solana, there's a button that says List on Magic Eden that previously, if you didn't have the listing fee in your wallet, you could do a one-time claim. So we've changed that to be, we will help you list. You hit that button and it will get listed. If you're short the listing fee, we'll stake it into your wallet. And if you then come back later and you've used that listing fee or you're back down below what it costs to list, we'll stake it again. So it's no longer a one-time fee. The UX is a little smoother there and more transparent. We'll help list no matter what the state of your wallet is. And there are some rate limits and windows and a few things to prevent abuse of that process. But any legit human listing and selling will be fine and not hit that. Only a real bot or a machine should be able to trip that anti-abuse feature. So that's one thing that's been deployed now. The next thing is an update on the migration. The last remaining thing has been unopened packs from previous years. Obviously, you can open your new 2026 packs, whether you bought them in our primary drops or off the secondary marketplace. So that's about to happen with the packs. There's a little bit of some of the legacy stuff we had to review for the rights to resell, to migrate, to mint. We finished all of that review. So there were things marked under review. Those have all been migrated. And next up is the packs. So we've needed to build a pack opening system, which is very similar to the system that opens the new packs you buy. But it has to behave a little bit different with the things that are already minted and potentially visible on previous chains and so on. So we have to take that into consideration as we're doing that. But that's all been developed and we're about to start that process of those packs. And then next up, let me see if I can show this feature. If I share my screen.
Yeah, if you share your screen, then I'll be able to bring it up on stage.
All right, let me see if I can find my behind the scenes version. Uh-oh. The screen share is, there it goes. It's not drawing. Nope, that's the wrong tab. Hold on. I have like 7,000 tabs open. I got to find the one that shows what I want to show here.
It always has 7,000 tabs open.
Very organized doctor.
No, that's not it. All right, I'm going to share a whole window so you can confirm that one of my windows does in fact have a lot of tabs.
All right, it's on stage.
All right, so this is not deployed yet, but it's about to happen, is an improved filter box here, which every collection that is currently in your view shows up in this filter. So you can, let me see if I can, so right now I'm filtering on, I don't know, we'll switch it to All-Star Icons. So now I have All-Star Icons and Hall of Fame filtered. It's a requested feature that you can filter by collection, and you only see the collections you have. My test collection has some of everything, so that's a big list. But and you could see some test packs that haven't been minted to mainnet yet. But so this will work with whatever view you have, in progress, wallet, and then rarity filters as well as collection filters. And let's see. What I meant before is now when you go in here to sell on Magic Eden, you Candy covers the network fee because my current wallet has very little money in it. On testnet here, 0.009 Sol, so that wasn't enough to list that. That's all transparent to you now. You will be able to list no matter what your situation is. That feature has been deployed, but the filter is coming up very soon, along with that migration. Then the next update is I'm doing a passive metadata cleanup. So one of the things that happened in our, like the packs from Gold Series 1, the names of those packs are like auction number 1, which is a little weird because that's the name of the drop that they were sold at. It's not the name of the pack. The pack is Gold Series Power. So there's a few minor details like that that we're cleaning up and sort of going back and adding to that metadata. The metadata is the mint address, nothing to do with the token mint is changing, but the metadata stored on Arweave is getting updated, and you could see the change log for those if you want. But on chain will point to the new metadata that has those corrections. So I've got a series of corrections slated for various collections that we've discovered once we've got them, viewing them on the marketplaces or in our various things. We're going to change that, and they'll be updated immediately on like the product catalog or anything that looks at the metadata directly, and then they'll be have to propagate through something like Magic Eden. You know, we're pinging them all the time to say, hey, we made this change on chain. When are we going to see it? And sometimes they're like, no problem, I'm refreshing it now. But other times you're just sort of waiting for their scrapers to get it. But you know, we're doing that. We fixed a few other images where the like non-primary image would show up as the thumbnail instead of the primary image. So a few fixes there. We've also about to release the ability to link an external Solana wallet to the Candy site. You can see that as coming soon if you go to your wallet page. So we have that feature developed where you link a wallet, and every feature of Candy website will combine the contents of the wallet we generated for you, along with the wallet. Oh, I caught that, giving me motion sickness. Sorry, the sun is blinding me at my desk, so I have to hold my laptop while I'm doing this. Actually, you know what? It went through a cloud here. Let me just fix this for you. All right, hands off. You'll be able to like link a third-party wallet. If that wallet has any Candy items, you can browse them, you can list them, you can do everything you can currently. And if it's a pack, you can open it. Anything you can do on Candy with the wallet we created for you, you can also do with a wallet you connect via like a web extension or something like that. And the main thing about that is there are probably people who use the secondary marketplace or other on-chain facilities, since we're decentralized, our assets are all out there, to transact. And then if you want to open a pack or view a comic, we have those tools on our site right now. And so you can bring the content and use those tools. All that data, though, I'll just remind you, is on chain too. So we just have built the viewers that are viewing the on chain information and performing these ownership checks and tests. But if we were to go away, you have them permanently, and someone could build another tool that will perform the same tasks that happen on Candy. But we're trying to make it easier for you to transact with Candy products that are fully decentralized by providing this website to perform those tasks, which is going to be a good tie-in to the professor. But I had one more thing to squeak in here. Stephen mentioned it. We've been hearing about them. We've been announcing quests. So an upcoming feature is the Quest UI on Candy.io. You'll be able to see all the active quests, and you'll be able to see your progress towards completing them. And if we know in advance, or when we know what the prize will be, it will be there as well. And there are a couple different types of quests. Previous Candy, we had a variety of them, from trivia-based challenges to logic puzzles to the DC quests, where you found all the back computers, or you wore the back cows, legacy cows in AR and got the code. And so the quest system that we're launching now will be a back end to track your progress through any type of quest we can come up with. But the first batches are all collection style quests. Now, even in collection style quests, or completing a checklist, there are multiple types of those. The ones we're launching, I'm kind of calling deadline quests. You have the set of products in your wallet at this moment by this deadline, and then you get the reward. But you can also imagine quests that are burning challenge. You have burned a certain set at any time, and then you get the reward. You can also imagine a type of quest where there's a window where at any time in that window, you submit your wallet address, and we check that you have a certain quantity of items, certain checklist of items, and you get the prize. That allows you, and one per wallet, would allow you to then sell those items to someone else to complete that that quest. So these are all the things that we're sort of enabling with this Quest UI. We've mentioned some of Anthony and Stephen and others have mentioned some of the first ones that we'll be doing, which you'll see in that UI when it's launched in the coming week.
Awesome.
And with that, I will kick it over. Well, back to Anthony.
Thank you, good doctor. Always a pleasure to have you on the live stream. And let me say it to the community, like, this is just the surface in terms of like what we're working on. Matt on our daily stand-ups is always going into like rabbit holes of what's going to make the collecting experience easier, more seamless for the collectors and fans. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this is who it's for. But with that, over to the professor. Classes.
Yeah. So even if Matt is not on a call, the doctor is actually always he's always chiming in for the people who are on these calls. So it's pretty good. He's always listening. All right, guys, I'm going to talk about 3 things today. I'm going to talk a little bit about secondary marketplaces. I'm going to talk a little bit about secondary transactions as it relates to searching and actually purchasing. And then I'm going to do a quick screen share and talk about some of our internal tooling and what the future looks like. Let's start quickly with secondary marketplaces, because we know that today Magic Eden is our primary secondary marketplace, but we acknowledge that there are struggles really around searchability. We all have different things that are sort of quirky about Magic Eden for us. I think we're all kind of we're making it work in the best way that we can. But the coolest thing that we've done with this second leg of Candy is decentralize everything. So Magic Eden is just one of many secondary marketplaces to transact. At the moment, we're not announcing anything new, but we are actively working on several actually secondary marketplaces that we'll be announcing pretty soon that are very, very cool, very exciting. To me, this is one of the coolest things that we can do now that we're decentralized, where we are not really limited to the walled garden that we used to be. And that is thanks in large part to Metaplex Core and what that brings along with it. And we're seeing what feels a lot like a tipping point with Solana and being able to transact quickly and inexpensively across the blockchain. When I screen share, I'll do a quick primer on listing stuff on Magic Eden again, just so if people are not familiar, show you how that works. Let's talk a little bit about secondary transactions. So Matt, or the doctor, just talked to us about that dusting concept, which I think I had brought up at some point in one of these prior conversations. We have tried to make it as effortless as possible for you to list your collectibles. But we know that purchasing them can be a different story. We think of our collectors as savvy collectors, but we know that not everyone is a savvy, maybe Web3 or blockchain person, and some people are. We know that for people who are really super into Web3 and the blockchain, you want to be able to buy in the primary marketplace with Solana. So we want to make that happen, and we have a plan to do that. But we also know that there are people who are really not into the blockchain at all and don't want to deal with Solana or a wallet. That is one of the reasons that when we architected this new version of Candy, we built in an embedded Candy wallet so that we could make things as easy as possible for people who didn't want to sort of take that wallet off Candy's platform and transact with it independently. But it also gives us the ability to work on your behalf to kind of make these transactions simpler. So when I screen share, I will show you a little bit about what we're talking about more directly. I'm guessing that right now we'll have a more definitive announcement next week about the timeline for some of these new features that I'm going to be discussing. But we are working very, very hard to make it as effortless as possible to both buy and sell directly on Candy.io without touching your Solana wallet. This still means that all of your collectibles are in your private owned wallet, but you don't have to deal with it if you don't want to. And that means you'll be able to purchase with fiat, which I think will be a huge benefit to a lot of our community who is really happy with the way that we used to be able to transact on both primary and secondary. So we're really excited about that. All right, let me screen share. So let me see if I missed anything that I want to cover. All right. One second. All right. I'm bringing up Pulse, which you should see in a moment. All right. So I'm going to go over a couple quick features in Pulse, and then I'm going to explain how this is going to tie into some of these new transaction features, which I think are pretty exciting. People who have been using Pulse may have seen this feature come to life this week, but you now have the option to customize the way that your Pulse dashboard looks and works. So in the upper right hand of Pulse, our traditional way of viewing Pulse has always been in this stack flow, where it stacks all of our modules top to bottom. We've gone through a refactoring of our Pulse code base to modularize this entire system, to turn this into a system that you can control and turn into individual slices of data and reconfigure however you want. You can even literally come in and edit and resize your modules independently. And the nice thing about this is that over time, we'll have new and creative ways to both showcase your collections and to be able to view different aspects of Candy at a high level. You'll be able to take these modules and put them in different places. And we'll be able to introduce new modules pretty quickly, modules that look a lot like modules that we have today, but that are more useful. And an example of that is our market module, which today allows us to see current products that are out on the blockchain that are available for sale on Magic Eden and Tensor. As we expand in the future to other marketplaces, we'll index those as well. So we will be able to present you a much, much richer search experience. So we see a future where we want to be able to very effortlessly display for you items that we think that you'd want. We want to be able to display things based on your search terms that we think are related, things that are modern first-class search experience. Today, we can do that by searching on Pulse all of our open secondary sale lists. So if I were to, for instance, say, let's look for Batman. I don't have enough in my Solana wallet to actually purchase, but what you'll see here is that immediately you can find the thing that you're looking for. The very fuzzy search, immediately go to Magic Eden and purchase. I don't have enough in my wallet right now, so I can't purchase this. But this feature has been up and running for about a week and a half, I think, in Pulse. So that makes it a little bit easier, right? You can search here, you can go find the thing pretty quickly, you can transact. But you still have to use your Solana wallet. You still have to have an account. You still have to be able to go to Magic Eden. You have to link it to sign in. But imagine if you didn't have to do that, and instead, rather than buy on Magic Eden, it just said buy now. And you could buy directly from here, and that would be the end of it. You wouldn't have to open your wallet at all. You would still have full ownership of it. On the blockchain side, everything still remains the same. The transaction still ends up in your exact wallet. So that's a super exciting feature that will be coming very, very soon. And while we're talking about secondary sales, so if we kind of connect the dots between what we have and how we got here and where we're going, if we look at my collection, for instance, and I want to go list an item, we can see how easy that is to do here. I can go literally click on the item. I can click on the item. There we go. And in this box over here, sell on Magic Eden, and I'm going to list it for $10, and then I'm going to list it on Magic Eden. Okay, so just as easy as it was to list this on Magic Eden, we want the purchasing side to be just as flexible. Magic Eden is busy right now. Please try again in a moment. So you can imagine that we'll have other ways to list. You can list on other third-party marketplaces as well, not just Magic Eden. Today, that's what we have embedded, but in the future, we'll be able to be flexible about this, and you'll be able to list anywhere. So you can imagine that we want this buy side to be as easy and effortless as that as well. So those are, so we have actually a couple other things I want to talk about really quickly. Sorry, one moment. Okay, so we talked a little bit last time I was on this podcast about doing email notifications for secondary listings and secondary sales. Those will be coming soon. And we did talk about our sort of larger search initiative that will allow you to very, very granularly find the thing that you're looking for and to transact with it right on Candy.io. So if you have questions, queue them up and we will tackle them. I think that is it for now for me.
Awesome. Ryan, just out of curiosity, like how much time do you spend thinking about Pulse and how you could upgrade it on the daily?
Pulse is becoming like a little baby that I love to work with. I love when I create a thing that feels like that because I don't stop thinking about it. I think about it all the time, and I think about ways to improve it and things that I don't say to anyone. I'll just keep them in my head. But our community is also awesome. They are constantly pinging me on the side for features. They're letting me know when things are broken, when things need a little bit of love, and I want those to keep coming. Those are the best things, guys. So keep letting us know what you want, what you need. We'll get it for you.
Awesome. As always, we're open to feedback. We want to hear directly from the community. You've heard me say it countless times by now. Hit us up on X, the Discord, the fan-help@candy.io. Some of you even have Tad's email. Tad is always forwarding us suggestions from the community. So we're all ears. Kick it over to us, and we'll start focusing on making those happen. But with that, how about we get into our Q&A section? You guys down for that?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's start at the top. I'm going down.
I think Hawkman had a couple.
Hawkman, I apologize. Funny story. I actually bought a real life Batman cowl from The Dark Knight that was supposed to be shipped today by Amazon. As you can imagine, delays after it's supposed to be delivered by 10 p.m. tonight. So I will take a selfie and post it on X and retweet it from the Candy account to show proof you guys were in for a treat today. So we'll have to save that for the next live stream.
I had 3D printed a little bat cowl. I had it back here, but sometimes my kids come down and they play with the stuff that I have back here, and I don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
Print a new one.
3D printing, I love it. All right, back to Hawkman. Here's one. He has a question about bat cowl utility. Steven, any thoughts there?
Yeah, bat cowls. So I saw a couple of comments about the cowls. We love the cowls. We love the cowl community. You guys were obviously the OGs. We are actively exploring what role the cowl community will take in our go forward partnership with DC. They recognize the value that those fans have committed not only upfront, but along the way. My goal is to create a program that feels inclusive and accessible for everyone. That said, I do like the notion of rewarding folks that have been along from the beginning. And, perhaps there are some unique elements that we will be rolling out in the future. For now, we are focused on the quest. There is no specific cowl component for the quest, but it is very much top of mind. And we have not forgotten about the cowl community.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Hawkman, for that question. Let's see. Hawkman again. Is the quest burning comics or selling them?
Yeah. So as described, it is collecting. There's no need to burn. There will be obviously that weekly window where if you have an existing collection that fulfills all of the quest requirements, you will be successful when the quest closes and a snapshot is taken of who has been successful. As the professor outlined, there will be, or as the doctor outlined, there will be a dashboard which will enable real-time tracking of these quests and independent status throughout. So it will be transparent and available, but there is no burning requirements. And in this instance, if a quest is announced and you have everything already in your wallet, fantastic. If there's a couple assets that are still outstanding, I would actively search the secondary market to see what might be available.
There we go. And as always, we're going to put some communication together, help break down what is needed for these quests, how you'll be able to complete it on Candy.io.
Absolutely. There will be, that's a good point. There will be a comprehensive overview of effectively the rules of the road. There will also be an overview of what the specific quest is for that week. Again, each week will have a unique thematic. We've been thoughtful about how we design those things. And again, just teasing out the lanterns is the first one. I did see a question about fandom discs, which... There you go. I can't say. I'm not at liberty to say if those would be involved, but I certainly don't think it hurts.
Wink, wink. Thank you for that, Steven. Question from Jeffro, more specific to a specific comic series. I think, to speak on what the team has said earlier, anything's on the table. We're exploring what we can do, but Steven, anything you want to add to questions about specific comic series and
yeah,
they'll be coming back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone caught Jim Lee at San Diego Comic-Con, but he outlined that Absolute series has been a resounding success for DC overall across a variety of different formats, and so they are very much investing in that as a creative. We are very interested in exploring how we can partner with them on Absolute. It feels unique, modern, and different, and I think certainly appropriate for the community that we are looking to support. So Absolute is very much top of mind for us.
Awesome. Let's see. Crypto Wash has one. Is it possible to create or add sets to each comic? If I click on a comic, it would be nice to see what I won of the set and which one I'm missing.
Yeah, so this is actually on the doctor's plate right now. We want this to be much, much better for you guys. So you guys should look up Matt L's background with gamification. This man is a gamification master.
Mad genius.
He's excited to get into this, making this a lot more fun and a lot more clear for you guys.
Awesome. Let's see. Going down.
I did just see a question which I can just grab right now. Will rarity for the comics matter? No, it is more appropriate for title. There may be an instance where rarity does matter, but again, we want this to be accessible to all, and we really want it to be driven by the thematic and not so much the nuance on the individual rarity level.
Awesome. Astra says, any idea when migration to Solana will be completed? Ryan.
Matt was going to talk more about that. It's very soon. I know we keep saying that.
Yeah, I think we're like at 99.9%.
Yeah, like it's very, very minimal. Like I think actually, like I keep thinking to myself that I will be the last person to still have stuff not migrated, because I have a couple of very old items, and then I'm in this classic group of people who are in the 2022 leadoff packs that I have never opened. 5 unopened packs. That is the holdup, and it's an important holdup because if you're following along, the reason this is challenging is because in order to open a pack, it has to be brought to your Candy, your sort of on-platform Candy account, and then we can facilitate the unpacking or the unwrapping of your pack. The reason we can't do that just fully on chain is because we don't want people to know the contents of a pack. So we actually just can't do that in a safe way. So that's why we have to bring it back. And now, because these are old packs, all new packs, obviously those already work. You guys are ripping those today. The older packs have a slightly different mechanism in the way that they were initially packed. So that's what we have to write first before we can let you guys actually open them. And that's the reason we haven't minted them. So we were very, very close.
Did you say email notifications on offers?
Yes. So this will be a very cool new feature where you will be able to find an item and make an offer on it. Now, everyone has to understand that because we're decentralized, where are you going to make the offer matters. Now, if you make an offer on Candy, we can route that correctly. If you make an offer on a platform that we support or a third-party marketplace that we support and we track, we can facilitate that. If you're doing a transaction that is not on a marketplace that we are supporting, we won't be able to do that just by the nature of crypto in general, because the wallets themselves have no identity. Magic Eden has no identity unless you literally put that information in. So if you think about it, Magic Eden has no idea who the owner of anything is. They know the wallet address of the owner. So if you make an offer on something that's on Magic Eden or Tensor or wherever, Magic Eden can't say, oh, let's send an email to the owner of this item. They don't even have your email address. We do, thankfully, and we do a bit of correlating of public and private Candy data, and we can facilitate those transactions. So that's coming very soon. It's just a bit more complicated than it might seem at the surface.
When will we get checkmark verified on Magic Eden? I know they just ran a recent update, so we'll have to double check to make sure that hasn't been implemented. But again, we're on our side, we're pushing the Magic Eden team pretty firmly to make sure they're able to reflect all the updates on our end. So once we have some insight there, we'll provide an update to the community. All right, let's see.
Yeah, a lot more often than not, we've already done the thing that we need to do for Magic Eden, but it's just not updating yet on the Magic Eden side.
Mm-hmm. Is Candy going to have its own marketplace again where I can purchase with my debit credit card?
Yeah, so I think this is what I was just talking about. What I think that our perspective is that we don't want to maintain a marketplace, right? That is not what we want to get into the business of. However, we do want it to be as easy as possible to buy and sell. So I think that what we'll get to with that is something that looks and feels a lot like a marketplace, but it's not really a marketplace because you guys are the marketplace. The decentralized nature of the collectibles is the marketplace, and they could be anywhere. But it will turn into something that looks and feels a lot more like our marketplace used to, where you'll be able to search for a thing and buy it effortlessly with fiat. So yes.
Awesome. One for Major NFT. Any new drops?
I saw a lot of these questions.
If you want to clarify on that.
DC drop. So we are focused on quests currently. Those quests obviously have a physical prize component on the back of it. Those discussions with DC Comics, as mentioned at the top, are still ongoing. We are very interested in bringing products to market, but again, the DC3 product is an element of what we envision for a broader ecosystem of products in the future. But we're very eager to explore how we do something that feels more comprehensive and substantive. Again, allows fans who show up all the time who have a real well-defined interest or passion for a specific character or IP to be able to interact with it more tangibly. So that's our focus. On the back of that, there is obviously new product opportunities for sure.
I did see someone just wrote, if Freebo inspired DC trading cards, is that something that
We'd love that.
Oh my God, we would all love that.
Yeah.
We would love Freebo to design a set.
Absolutely. I think getting Freebo in on this will send people for a loop. All right. Let's see. Will quests have some kind of burning mechanism? It sounded like Steven right now it's just going to be focused on collecting, so no burning at the moment.
Correct. I mean, if there is a specific burning need, we can certainly address it, but that is not at all a component of the quest that we envision for this next 9-week sprint.
Awesome. All right. Well, it looks like that's the bulk of the questions. A lot of repeat questions. A couple things. I do see one regarding the gold quest, which I'll answer on the MLB side. For the gold quest, if someone finishes the full set quest, would they get the Murakami reward icon, $500 in candy credit, and the McGonagall reward icon? Technically, yes. But with quests, once we do go live with the quest UI, you will have the option to opt in for each quest. So if you opt in for the full set quest, then you'll get those rewards. If you don't opt in for the McGonagall partial set, then you won't be able to. So once that UI is live, you'll have to make sure to opt in to receive both rewards. All right, let's see. Already did that. Cool, guys.
Sorry, I just saw one from Hawkman, which is a good one, and it makes me feel like he might be reading my mind or have access to my emails. We are very interested in original artwork. That is something that we are exploring. We are having discussions with artists who are responsible for some of the most well-known and legendary imagery in comics. That is certainly something that we see as a big part of the go forward opportunity. And those are all things that I think we are capable of exploring and bringing to market in parallel to some of the discussions that we're having with DC. So great question. And we are very excited about that.
Great. Well, we are almost at time. With that, a couple housekeeping things on the MLB side, just to announce as we head into another week. We will be taking a week off from the Gold Series auctions. That's going to give the doctor, the professor, Steven, and the rest of the team more time just to kind of get our ducks in a row in terms of updates, make sure we're hitting on all cylinders. And that means the next Gold Series auctions will actually be the rookies drop on Wednesday, August 26th at 2 p.m. So mark that in your calendars. We're going to also host a live stream next Monday to talk about, or actually the Monday of the week of the 26th to take a closer look at the designs, the inserts, all that we've done on the MLB side. So excited to get going on that again. And lastly, check out the Gold Quest. A lot of the collectors, whether you're a DC fan, MLB fan, have been able to dive into the Gold Quests, the base series quests. It's a good opportunity to understand how these potential DC quests will work. Check it out and, set yourself up for some rewards. So again, as always, a big hat tip to Steven, a big hat tip to the professor and the doctor. Oh, we are getting a couple. Let's see. One last one from D. I'm not seeing. Oh, here. One last question. The original roadmap for Backhouse had metaverse integration, 3D files, avatar. Will there be a chance to honor the roadmap, and will we get to use our Backhouse avatars in the metaverse like the other side?
I am unfamiliar with other side functionality, and so this might be a question better suited for the doctor. I certainly know that there was an AR viewer that he was able to design that allowed fans to be able to view your cowl in a immersive or metaverse style experience. But again, without knowing about all the functionality of other side, it's hard to say what you're capable of doing there.
Awesome. Well, with that, we are coming up on the hour. A big thank you to Steven, the professor, and the doctor, as I said before. Look, this is the first DC live stream of many. So much on the MLB side, it was very focused on updates. But once we start kind of hitting the rubber, whatever the phrase is, once the rubber hits the road, we'll be on a good path. So thank you to all for joining today. If you missed it, this will be on YouTube, on X. We'll share out any highlights coming out of it. But again, thank you all and hope you all have a good weekend.
Bye, guys.